Hello everyone. I'm doing a follow-up on my video from a few days ago, how to recognize a loser and whether you should be polite to losers. And I had an incident this morning at the food hall, the resort we're staying, so we have to wear a mask and a plastic glove when we're serving our food. I'll put a short clip at the end of this video just so you can see what I'm referring to. There's this guy, late 50s, early 60s, and I saw he didn't change his glove. He kept the same glove. Alright, he then goes over the salad and he's coughing. Not once, twice, he's coughing many times. And the mask he's wearing isn't, how to say, it's got gaps in it, okay? And so now he's got my attention for that. And I already noticed that he didn't put a fresh glove on because I was sat next to them. And he went back to his table, put the salad down, and then he sneezed. And he pulled the mask down, grabbed some tissue paper, blew his nose, threw the tissue paper into a used dish, put the mask back up and went to get some more food. And I lost it. I couldn't keep my mouth shut. And I shouted at him. I told him, change your gloves. And he pretended like he didn't know I was talking to him. I said, oi, I know what you just did. Go change your gloves. Okay. He goes, changes the mask, changes the glove. I'm pissed off. My wife comes, I tell her, don't touch that and don't touch that. This guy has already handled it all. Anyway, at the end, he's leaving and there's a hand sanitizer dispenser just next to him. I didn't even see it. I didn't even know it was there. I don't use the stuff. But what do you think he does? He's leaving, right? What do you think he does on his exit? He uses the hand sanitizer on his hands, rubs his hands and walks out. So I shouted at him again. Shouted at him. Called him a twat. And he turned to look at me and looked away, and I shouted at him again louder. Just to be sure. In case he was confused when he looked back, in case he was confused as to whether I was speaking to him or shouting at him or not, because it enraged me. There he is coughing, then sneezing, not changing the mask and the glove, and he knows all too well that the hand sanitizer's right next to him. He knew all along. You know, I didn't come up with these rules, but I have to obey by these rules. And he's probably the type that wants these rules and wants kids jabbed for his protection, not for their protection. He was wearing the mask and he was wearing the glove. He just didn't have the common sense to understand how it's meant to be used. What, wearing a mask means that you sneeze and you cough is irrelevant. Wearing a mask, a glove, means that wiping your nose with it and then going and handling all the cutlery, there's nothing on the glove because it's a glove, it's not a hand. The bacteria can only be on a hand. And then it has the wherewithal to go and use the hand sanitizer. And this then brought about another discussion because obviously all the staff came out and I explained to them how I see it. And then the discussion and, and I think let's use the Second World War as an example. So in 1936, and when they had Jews can't own businesses and can't work in certain professions, I'm sure that there was a significant number, maybe not the majority, we never know, who felt that this was wrong, but they kept their mouth stum, quiet, shut. And who's to say, had they not have protested and rioted and said, no, this is too much, that in itself may have prevented the Second World War. We don't know, because it's a hypothetical, but it's within reason that if enough people had stood up and said, this is obscene, this is unacceptable. So same with today. So many people who feel that this tyranny isn't justified or isn't right or is overreach or it shouldn't be applied to everyone, okay, but they're keeping quiet, and that makes them passive participants. Giving another example, the Treaty of Versailles may have been harsh on Germany. I don't want to argue the pros and cons of that argument. However, when Hitler took the Sudetenland, that was an act of war. And it was Britain and France who were responsible to going to war. When he built a navy and an army, that was an act of war. When he took Czechoslovakia, that was an act of war. In every one of those cases, he was so weak, Germany was so weak, that England and France, the only people killed would have been Germans. But instead, the British government and the population, and again, maybe it wasn't the majority, maybe there was a silent majority who felt this is outrageous, Hitler's evil, we should stop him, but they kept quiet. And therefore, a vocal minority ruled the day. And their appeasement of Hitler, definitely, without any shadow of a doubt, was the enabler of the war. And for all those people out there listening to this, if you hate on the Germans, okay, you are so mistaken. Hitler said what he was going to do. You can't blame him for doing what he said he would do. Who you can blame are the people who were there to make sure he doesn't do what he says he's going to do. They are the people responsible. Which means Neville Chamberlain, Puya, may he burn in hell, is even more responsible for the Second World War than Hitler. Because as a good man, he was responsible to fight evil, because evil wins when good men turn a blind eye. And I might lose the fight, but I'm not going to back down from fighting. Because at least I can say, I stood up. At least I can say, I tried. At least I can say, I was not a passive participant. And you can say it about anything. The Russian Revolution. There have been people seeing it like, wow, the world's gone insane, the world's gone mad. But not being vocal. So yeah, I'm totally decided. This is fighting times, and I'm gonna fight the same as they fight. They're okay to call me a degenerate and a Nazi and a racist and a white supremacist and a misogynist. Well, I'm ready to fight back on those same terms. Tyrannical communist narcissists. I'm not going to be in the silent majority. Think about it. To all those of you who disagree with me, wear your masks, you dirty scum. I'm gonna wear a nappy on my face and gloves. So much for environmentalism. For a coffee. That's quite nice, the potatoes fried in butter with onion. Apart from the nonsense, not so bad.